All right, we call this meeting of the Town of Munster Planning Commission to order for Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. Please set your phones on stun and let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, Jill, how are you?
I'm very well, Mr. Baker. How are you?
Thank you. Very well. Will you please call roll? Mr. Tulowitzki. Oh, okay. Sorry, Mr. Anderson.
Here's absent. Mr. Raffin. Here's absent. Councilor Mellon.
Present.
Dr. Kulturitis.
Present.
Ms. Brannigan.
Present.
Ms.
Present. We have a quorum. Next up is the approval of minutes from July 11th, 2023. Any motions, changes? What say you?
Move to approve the minutes as given.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And discussion. I have one after PC 23 at the end where there's some notes about the combination for Mr. Raffin. Would you include my comments, please, as it related to having somebody when we have a PUD in front of us that is aware of the PUD rules for that particular parcel, please. With that modification, is the motion still good? Motion and second. Mr. Wickman, are you still doing roll calls?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Mr. Anderson.
Councilor Mellon.
Yes.
Ms. Brannigan.
Yes.
Mr. Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Dr. Kulturitis.
Yes.
Mr. Baker.
Yes. Next up, preliminary hearings, PC 23-016, Timothy Lentz of Tunnel Blank Construction LLC, who's requesting approval of an amendment to the Franciscan Alliance Plan Unit Development to accommodate height restrictions on the existing hospital campus at 701 Superior Avenue. Ms. Christensen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You're up. Help us with this one, please.
Okay, if we can scroll down to page 2 of the staff report, please. So Franciscan Hospital is seeking an amendment to the Franciscan Hospital planned unit development due to some newly revised height restrictions that have been placed on the development by the FAA. Currently, this PUD ordinance is governed by ordinance number 1597 that was established back in 2013, and it was amended back in 2016, and that's ordinance number 1677. This project is a little bit new to me, but it has not been new to our office. They have met with the planning department has met with the petitioner on 2 different occasions to discuss the PUD campus revisions. And like I said, it's the reconfigurations are necessary because of those height restriction changes. Just some background on that. Several years ago, the FAA allowed the structures near the airport to be up to 7 stories in height, and those have now been changed so that they're only allowing 5 stories in height, from my understanding. So because of that change, they're, moving structures around so that, instead of being vertical, we're getting a little more horizontal with it. And with that, I'll let the petitioner go ahead and talk in more detail about the plans that they have for this site. If you do scroll down through the staff petition or the staff report, you can see a site plan drawing, and that might be helpful for the petitioner as they talk through their project.
Pause. Is that it?
That's back to you.
Okay, all right, thank you. I need that transition, please. So
I know, I'll be on it tonight. We got this.
Any questions? I have one question. Is this particular one seems to be a proposer for future? Is this already approved, the layout that's currently on the screen now, or is this just what they're thinking about in the future?
The one on the screen is proposed.
Having things that are wishes show up as part of those petitions.
Is that a question for me?
No, you're not up yet. That's
It's a question for me.
Hello?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. We had a conversation, we were talking about Centennial Village PUD with regards to how they were laying it out as a future requests for other changes that hadn't occurred yet. And my question was, is this one of those types of drawings? And I thought we had talked about not having those drawings be included in specific petitions.
It's my understanding And if I'm wrong, petitioner, please correct me, but it's my understanding what is being presented is the plan that they want to have approved. It's not just a small piece of it that they want approved. I believe it's the whole thing.
Thank you.
So that's a little bit different than the last petition that we had at our last meeting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions for Ms. Christensen? Either none, I'm assuming, sir, you're here to speak as on behalf of the petitioner. Say your name and address for the record, please, and have at it.
Tim Lentz and address, like home address.
You could be with.
321 North Corner East Gulf, Arizona.
She couldn't get your business card. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Tim Lentz, Senior Program Manager. I'm representing Franciscan for the request to amend the PUD as stated. The reason for the amendment is correct, as stated, the FAA requirements have changed. Previously, we had planned for a 6-story and a 4-story building on the campus. We no longer were able to put a 6-story building because of the revised height requirements. So now we are editing it to be a 5-story and a 5-story building. So we're subtracting from one building and adding to another to balance it so that we can balance the campus and meet the height requirements for the FAA. In addition, the mechanical spaces, we're going to be in interstitial spaces, which also raise the height of the building. We pulled the interstitial space out and mechanical space to a central plant on the campus that would serve the campus mechanical needs, which then shifts the helipad to the north. So that's a quick summary of what the changes are. All of this is really because of the height requirements is why we're editing the campus, and so we're balancing it and reducing the height. That's it.
Thank you. Bring it back to the board. Any comments, questions, preliminary hearing?
So I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
The diagram that's up there right now is of the existing buildings. And you're gonna be coming back and actually changing some of the buildings to be 5 stories instead of 6.
So the diagram that's up now is an edit of the current PUD that's approved. We've edited that. The orange buildings are existing, as well as the East MOB is existing as a 3-story building with approval to go 6 stories. The future bed tower is what was 6 stories and is now 5, and the future diagnostic was 4 stories, it's now 5. And you can see the addition, which is not there today, of the central plant.
What I'm asking is that you're saying that you're limited to 5 stories, but yet there's pink buildings up there that actually have the number
So,
6 on them.
Thank you for that, good point.
That's why I'm asking.
No, that's a great point. So the hospital building, 4-to-4 height is higher. And so we're limited, it's really a height restriction, not a story restriction. So to build a hospital 5-story is higher than a MOB, as well as when you go further east, the height restriction gets higher. So we're able to build the MOB a little bit higher than the hospital buildings if it's further from the airport. And the same is true for the parking garage. We can leave that because the height from story to story is less than a hospital building. So thanks for clarifying.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the petitioner?
Mr. Lentz,
Yes,
just for clarification, MOB is medical office building,
yes, thank you.
and so that's,
Sorry, thank you.
those are short.
It's a lot less deck, so the floor is less because there's a lot less.
No operating rooms. That's good.
Correct.
And likewise with the parking structure, that's much lower than correct floor.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I read,
Councilman.
yes, oh, thank you.
Okay.
I also read in the staff report that there's some, part of the reason for the amendment is change in traffic flow. Could you give some comments to characterize what's changing in the traffic due to the,
We had talked about, in the site plan, we had talked about various traffic flows across the site. After those discussions, what we landed on is not to change the traffic flow through the site. So there is a shift to accommodate that 4-story building because the footprint changes slightly. So on the south side, there's a shift, but we have, per our discussions, we're maintaining that throughput through the campus there, 45th and Superior.
okay, and I'm assuming that the 7-story and the 5-story, or 6 and 4, they become 5 and 5, that's like the same number of beds and uses.
Same uses, yeah.
Same parking requirements.
Well, so right, yeah, we've made sure that the parking ratios stay the same that were on the previous, so it's 4.25 for medical office and 2.5 for hospital space. That's still what we're applying to this, that we have not asked to change that.
Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? I had one other one. Is there anything currently on the book that is going to be going through the process, or is just this to change the plan?
Right now, this is just to change the plan unit.
Okay.
So, go ahead if you want. Well, so there's more coming that would be according to the PUD. That would go through the development plan process, but right now, this process is just to change.
Okay, and then for the next session, I don't know if this is to Dustin or Jill or to Rachel, is to have a copy of what's currently approved and then what's modified from what was approved currently to what we're looking at doing now, so we could see the difference. So I don't know if the helipad was moved one of the other times or is a part of this one. So have those so we are able to track them. Thank you. Anything else? Preliminary hearing, folks, let's go.
Mr. Chairman, I move to move PC docket number 23-016 to a public hearing at the September 12th, 2023 Plan Commission meeting.
There's a motion there, a second,
I'll second the motion.
and a second. Any discussion? Either not, Mr. Anderson.
Dr. Kulturitis.
Yes.
Ms. Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Councilor Mellon,
Yes.
and Mr. Baker.
Yes. All right, moving right along. Thank you, sir. Gonna be exciting. Public hearing. Next up is PC 23-018 Maple Leaf Crossing LLC requesting approval of a development plan for a retail building at Maple Leaf Crossing Lot 5 located at 9470 Calumet Avenue. Is there someone from staff that would like to speak on this?
Yes, I can speak on this. So of course, this is part of Maple Leaf Crossing. If you scroll to page 2 of my staff petition, you can see the area that we're discussing as part of this petition is outlined in red. Of course, this is governed by ordinance number 1803. It was adopted in July of 2020. It includes the approved PUD includes developmental standards and the site plan. This project calls for the development of Lot 5. This is a 7,098 square foot retail structure that will have 5 units as part of it. Additional site elements include sidewalks, landscaping, and lighting. The proposed structure has a mixture of brick, stone, and aluminum siding. And the facade of the structure includes steel canopies. If you can scroll down just a couple more pages, there is a drawing or a rendering of the structure itself, so you can kind of see what it looks like. It's very lovely. I did review the developmental standards and also the site plan that goes along with this. And I did not see many issues. There was just 2 that I have noted. All the materials match up with what is supposed to be as part of Lot 5. One thing that I did see was that according to the original ordinance, all mechanical equipment should be screened so that it's not visible to those at street level on all sides of the buildings. And on this one in particular, on the rear of the structure, you know, there's just the regular mechanical stuff that goes along with buildings that's not screened yet. So that is one of my staff recommendations, is that there is some type of screening that gets added to this just to block that mechanical equipment. It also states that the light fixtures shall be of high quality commercial grade, and that the fixtures shall be constructed and installed to be glare free and shall comply with all applicable code requirements. As part of this submission, we did not have any of the light fixtures for the building, and I don't believe the site either. So one of my staff recommendations as part of this too is that when this goes to be permitted, that, you know, we do see those light specifications for the fixtures, just so that staff can ensure that they are of high quality, which I'm sure they will be. So overall, my staff recommendation would be to approve the petition as presented with those conditions. And that's back to you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you. All right, any questions for Rachel regarding this particular matter? If there are none, Somebody from the petition would like to speak before I open this up to the public hearing? Please state your name and address, sir.
Sure, David Beach, 1630 Cherry Blossom Drive. This is one of two buildings that we have up tonight, which are essentially identical buildings on lot 5 and 6. As the commission is aware, the entire site plan is already approved. All we're talking about today is the building to address Ms. Christensen's comments. The mechanicals will be on the roof, in the middle of the roof. The building has a 4'10" parapet in the front and 2'8" in the rear. So we believe that the parapet will provide adequate screening for the mechanicals on the roof. The lighting in question, those are decorative LED lights that simply provide some architectural detail in the evening. Light up the stonework up and down. They are not meant to be pedestrian lights. They're simply architectural LED lights.
That it?
That's it.
Thank you. All right, questions for the petitioner?
I do have.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just looking through the drawings, and I'm trying to understand your intent. It seems like this is like a veneer stone column, right? The columns between the glass and the glass.
It's Indiana limestone, yes.
Okay, so it seems like it's not anchored stone, but it's a veneer, right? So I'm just concerned there's a lot of joint lines in this stone. Is this just this particular rendering? I guess I would prefer to see something with less. To me, it just looks a little bit busy on the columns there.
Ashford pattern. Ashford pattern.
Okay,
All over.
is there like a pattern that would be larger with less joint lines? I mean,
Mr. Lacer could probably tell you more about that, but I think he took this from Army.
Oh,
And he's
okay,
replicating that pattern.
sure.
Didn't you go to Purdue?
I went to Ball State.
Ball
for
State,
commissioners, yeah,
Right.
different buildings.
That on the record.
But I'm familiar with IU campus and it's beautiful. But also I was just, trying to understand kind of the roof line. It doesn't seem to have necessarily a defined roof line. I'm just wondering why there's not more of a, stone parapet above the glass. I mean, I looked at the section and how, the glass is supported. But I'm just curious the intent of that.
The space above the canopy provides room for signage for the tenants of these buildings.
I'm not talking about the canopy above the doors. I'm talking about the roof line on the top of the building. Like why does the stone not go all the way across?
Between the columns. she's
Yeah.
talking about.
And that's where you have the elevated parapet that we have the aluminum and glass. It would be a complete different approach to have all this, have a stone all the way up.
Not just, I guess I'm looking more of like a stone coping along the top, like the top edge, not. Sure, I'll get.
I'll let Mr. Winchester-
It's
It's
just
just
questions.
aesthetics.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jay Leeser, 10342 Rose Road. So the pattern is an Indiana limestone ashlar pattern. It's a 4-piece pattern. And been used before in Bloomington on building. Very good work. I mean, this might have to work a lot. And then we have limestone cut vertical that are inset in each column. And then the limestone cap on top, right? And they do draw it out, right? But why did they take it all the way across?
right, yeah.
So you have, to where the awning attaches is glass, the panel in lighter blue up is a metal panel,
Mhm.
right? It's just a look that we were getting at. I mean, I've seen throughout this town and the county, a gable, a hip, a different farmhouse look in a shopping center.
No,
And
I
didn't
wouldn't
want that.
suggest that, yeah.
This is a building I saw east. I do deal with the quarries of Bloomington. It's all masonry. The back is, in the back, is there a rear, and you, Dustin, if you go to the,
I know
other
it's-
area, no, just about 8 through. Yeah. So being that we back into the railroad tracks and Franciscan and whatnot, no, where you go to 8 through, I need the rear elevation. Maybe it's
Page 8, I think.
B1.
It should be on page 8.
So knowing that there's a backup building, I went to the expense of adding columns to match the front, because it's gonna be seen north and south or south. I can't have no. We did make it all brick building. It's the same brick that's on our large 4-story building. And we tied in the Indiana limestone and even the awnings to match to the color, but same brick and whatnot. So I, as a builder and developer for years, I find it good appeal. I know where I found this building and how we got to it, but we did look on the side. We went with snow. It's not precast. It's a 3 and 5 inch bed, so it's a full, joint for the thing, but, I've been in the town a while, kind of proud of what we improved, knowing what we put up lasts longer than us, so this was 8 months in the making, so we got it. Even the parapet, like David said in the back, we're up almost 30 inches. The units for the heating cooling are in the middle, about 38 inches tall. So as Rachel brought up, street level, I don't think it'll be seen.
Sure.
Right, so I get everyone's opinion, but I think for a nice masonry building with the glass and then the metal above it, and then a runner across for the signage for their tenants. So I'll show you a picture of a real building.
Oh, okay, like a dimensional rendering, is that what you mean? Or-
Of the building that looks just like that.
Oh,
The building that inspired this.
Yes.
oh, okay, got it.
So as far as the back, we've got leader boxes to catch the gutters, coming down there, and then where the dotted line is, so a little more decorative than just, or the scuppers, I should call them. And then the back is just like the electric gas meter from NIPSCO. We are hiding, shielding stuff on the road by the parapet wall. And again, you look at the back, no one would put 6 stone columns up in the back of the building without understanding the views that I know people can see. So we take pride in what we're doing.
Yeah, it is a nice building. It was just,
I'll show you the.
it was just, I was looking for maybe a little more defined edge.
So
on
we
the
did,
roof
we
line.
did, for the office building, we did do a cut stone, machine cut stone coming across, and even water table is cut stone. This is same color, but a pattern stone with cut stone on the caps and verticals on each column. So, I mean, it'll look very nice when it's done. It'll complement what we're doing.
Good. Any other questions for the petitioner? I have one. Go ahead, Councilman.
It's not in particular to lot 5 and 6, I don't think, but the defining feature of Maple Leaf Crossing in the mind of the resident has been the container architecture and those little container buildings. I'm just wondering where those are intended to come into the development.
So last, because they need to feed off Hyatt Hotel right there. So the Hyatt Hotel is open next month. Our office building, you got cut short. It's
Is it the inner triangle there?
no, well, that is a container, but those tenants need the traffic count of the 105 room hotel and the professional office building, the Cummings and Goings of that, and they'll bring their register. They put them out there right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to envision what those will look like.
There's a pair of them in front that we made, but there'll be more to come. Just that I've talked to, we have them committed. But they will, their traffic will be driven by these 2 buildings, the restaurant and front. But our goal is to be done with the whole development at the end of 2024.
Okay.
So these we want to wait by next month. Going in the spring, and then the restaurant and the containers will come at the end of by the end of the year.
And are the tenants for these lot 5 and 6 buildings known and shareable? Or
We're School Rock, which is, I have the territory for that, will be 3 units. There's a yoga studio we're working with for it. There's a title company we're talking to, physical therapy we're talking to. there's a pain clinic. For, one unit, two doctors in the area. Okay, so there's only, because of the depth, we're limited, there's only, I think, 10 stores, 5 and 5. So about 13 or 1400 square foot per unit.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Jill, will you go back to the rendering, please? My question is on the facade, where's the tenant signage gonna go?
Horizontal. Across, the.
On top of that awning kind of
No,
structure?
The blue, that's metal up there. So across, horizontal.
Right, so if somebody needs their logo, is it gonna be consistent or is it gonna be logoed? I mean, how is the signage gonna be? Is it gonna be consistent or market driven?
That's a gray area.
Things.
Well, I'm gonna add to that too. Are they gonna be limited by the borders of the metal beams going vertical?
Well, so if someone has 2 units, they can. Right?
But what I'm just saying, if you're gonna put something that horizontal across that whole thing, you're just ruining the beauty of
No,
the building
Within the columns.
within the column.
Yeah, so because the columns jump out.
Right.
But
Well, they may wanna put it in front of the column
Now,
and illuminate it.
so they're about 30 feet wide of stories. And
That's the only question I would have.
most stores are,
The structure itself looks
yeah,
gorgeous.
most stores are 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess-
20 by 60, 20 by 70, these are about 30. So wide enough for any signage.
So Councilman, think of the 2 black columns inside of the stone columns. Think of the sign adhering to those 2 columns and it's gonna be across like that.
Horizontal.
At least that's kind of what's
Yeah.
shown in the drawing that Rachel said.
Um,
And then the
yeah.
concern too is gonna be illumination and getting your electric runs.
So the runs are, so we also made these buildings about 25 feet tall, only because
Pushing up and back.
the hotel is 4 stories, the office building is 4 stories, the farm is 4 stories, so we made them taller just so they wouldn't look so petite.
But these are supposed to be 1 story.
They are 1 story.
Right, but I mean, like, look, I see what you're saying.
So it looks-
Didn't want them to look dwarfed with the other building.
Right.
So it's more expense to go higher than what we're doing,
Mhm.
but it does allow one tenant that might want a little loft in there,
Uh-huh.
allow that. Yeah,
I would, Jay, the only thing I would say with the signage is I would, in that gray area, I would try to keep all the signage consistent, the same like path only because if they utilize that whole space and everybody starts putting up geometric signs and then someone comes up with,
no, I don't want it like an NASCAR, so I agree. It'll be
So I'm just saying,
consistent
I mean,
signage.
that's why I'm concerned, because like I said, this looks clean, this building, this image looks clean to me. And then if you start putting these signs up that look irregular, it's gonna take away from the building.
And I agree.
That's the only thing. I understand the area.
I do just want to make a note that in this PUD, there is no specific mention of signs and that any signs in this PUD need to adhere to the town's sign ordinance. So I'm not familiar enough with that to say what is allowed or not. I just know that another building in this development is going for a variance because they want to do something different than what is in our sign ordinance. So anything that you do want to do, you're gonna have to either adhere or get a variance.
Okay.
What's
Yes,
important.
yes, ma'am.
I have one. So this, where, Rachel listed the standards and then the issues and the one that refers to the lighting. So this is a question for Rachel. So Rachel, are you referring to these,
Middle.
the decorative lighting here? On-
I'm
under-
referring to I'm referring to both because the PUD ordinance, I don't think is specific on which lighting they're exactly talking about, if it's building lighting or if it's site lighting. So the way I interpret it was for any type of lighting on the site. So I don't think, Jill, unless we've gotten something that I haven't seen, I don't think we have specs for the light fixtures for the site, nor do we have specs for the building.
They're in the photometrics from July 17th.
Yes, I know we have photometrics. I just don't know if I've seen the actual light fixtures themselves.
There's cut sheets in that whole 43 pages from July 17th.
Okay,
I know we've gone back and forth with your lighting contractor, because they weren't full cutoff lights. And Nicole had been working with them
So
to
they've been the
make sure
same
that they're.
lights as we recorded in 2020, and then as we moved the site around, same light fixtures staying. The two plan commission meetings in May and June, and the final approval in July 17th. So nothing has changed, our site plan except moving a fixture due to the amended site plan.
And are we to understand that the lighting fixture vendor is providing lighting that doesn't meet the standard?
I don't
For the original submittal, they were not full cutoff lights, but we're working with them to. They understand what we're looking for, and I think that they're.
And for those maybe less in tune with all the terminology, can you describe what full cutoff lights are?
So a light fixture, the light comes out 360 degrees, but a full cutoff light will prevent the light from shining upward. So all the light is directed down toward the ground, and it's to help with light pollution.
And so the PUD as submitted was for full cutoff lights, but the lighting fixtures that are coming in are not complying with that. Am I understanding that right?
Yes. The latest that I saw, they weren't full cutoff lights, and we've been talking with the vendor about making sure that they comply with this. And then there's something about the color temperature too, I believe. That didn't meet the town standards.
So in answering Rachel's question, I thought as we're talking about the two buildings, your condition of the lighting are the surface mounted light fixtures in the middle of the columns. That's what we're here for, lots 5 and 6 today, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so those are decorative LED lighting.
And are you saying the town, if they're decorative lighting, the town still wants them to be cut off lights? But if those panels, what if it's decorative for the aesthetics of the building? And the light goes up?
the only thing your PUD ordinance says is that the light fixtures shall be high quality commercial grade. So as long as when we get the specs for the lighting on the building, if they are the high quality commercial grade, I think that's the thing that we're looking for.
It's different from what I heard here, because then what I heard Jill say is that she's utilizing the rest of the zoning ordinance for lighting to be applied to this, since it's not specific in the PUD. Which one is it?
So that was signage. That comment was related to science, wasn't it?
No. I could, well, I mean, we're using the town's lighting standards.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to understand, like, because I know for the lights in the parking lot and everything, you know, they're higher. So I just want it, when it's kind of vague to say high quality commercial grade light. I mean, you can say commercial grade, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to make a motion to include that and not know, will that then mean, I see why the long light,
Oh,
Looks-
those are limestone.
oh, those are limestone. Oh, I thought those were
Limestone.
lights,
The only lights are between.
It's just that little,
just that little
The wall
one.
wash.
It just goes- yeah, up and down to kind of eliminate the texture of the stone.
I gotcha.
Wall wash.
So kind of like in a bathroom where you'd have like
Sconce
that
up.
where the sconces go both ways.
Right.
So I guess and I don't know who said, but if it helps or enhances, I should say, the architecture of the building, is that too egregious? I mean, as far as like the light going up, because they're not like a highlight, they're definitely, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the temperature.
They're wall wash.
Wall, yeah.
Cut sheet, what I call permanent.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like, 'cause I don't want to eliminate something that actually might enhance the building. But it is just hard to tell, like.
Right, and that's why I think, that's why that is in my staff report, because we don't have the specs on it yet. So, from my perspective, we can't review it and say for certain that this does comply with everything because we don't have all the information. I absolutely have a ton of confidence in our petitioner that those will be provided. I think just as a safeguard, if something happened and we approved this and something happened to our petitioner and we ended up getting lights that did not meet what the standard was, then that just causes a code enforcement issue for us. So if we can just get the light fixtures up front so we can take a look at them and ensure that as staff, we feel comfortable with the way it's moving forward. That's why we're putting this in there just as a safeguard.
Okay, I understand now, thank you.
Any other questions for the petitioners?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Just also on the first condition, mechanical equipment at the rear of the structure. I know you said that it's on the roof, it's in a parapet.
Yep.
I'm just wondering from Ms. Christensen if that's satisfactory, or is there some other mechanical equipment that we're not?
Yes, if we can go to page 8 of the staff report. It has the drawing of the rear elevation of the structure. And there are the electrical service and meter boxes that are on the back of the building. So if we strictly interpret what the plan unit development ordinance says, I guess from my perspective, I would consider that mechanical parts of the building. However, if the plan commission views that otherwise, then, but that's my job to point out, just to say, hey, this is my strict interpretation of the ordinance. So to me, those would be service and mechanical that serve the building that would need to be screened.
I can't speak for Ms. Christensen or Ms. Desmaso. But we went through this exercise long ago with Centennial Village and other petitioners. Take for instance on County Road Avenue in front of Lake Business Center, the parapet walls at the coffee place, the noodle place, the place that was the burger place, right? The focus was on the mechanicals being the large unit, like your HVAC, and the thing like that. And even if you went to Centennial Village now, to the residential building, and always very attractive building, there are the meters visible from the outside. And in fact, Matt tried to screen those, and NIPCO gave them a knockdown back outside. So I appreciate the diligence, the completeness of the review. But I do think if we were to look at what we have thought was a good outcome, this meets that.
Thank you, that's helpful. I can confirm Coffee Plate has some meters out back, if you're taking phone calls there, and it's not really problematic.
Okay, any other questions for the petitioner? All right, I'm going to open up the public hearing section for PC 23-018. If you'd like to speak on this matter, please come to the microphone and state your name and address. Once, twice. Closing the public hearing, bringing it back to the commission. What say you?
We're gonna eliminate the number 1 position then? It sounds like number 1 satisfactory, so it could be eliminated. Number 3, I'm not entirely sure where we landed. Number 2 seems fine. We'll get the specs for the lighting, and that I'm sure we'll be fine. The number 3, I'm not quite sure, because this talks about the whole site plan. And it sounds like staff is working with the vendor to work that out, and my interpretation anyway, is the spec is okay. But I'm not sure if I interpreted all that properly.
So is there a question or?
Is staff able to clarify then what they believe whether or not we need P3? Is their condition?
Do we need third condition? Rachel?
It If we scroll down to the site plan for the lighting, I think it is still reflective of the original site plan, and it's not an updated site plan based on our meeting from last month. And I just wanted to make sure that we were accommodating Jill's concerns as well with the uplighting or the lighting that's not cut off.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson,
Leave it in or leave it out?
he concurs.
Leave it in.
But it is what we approved last.
I want it in. I think Mr. Beach-
We're not doing the site plan. This is just the buildings 5 and 6. The site plan lighting we've already done. We're not changing that. There's nothing new to the site plan. This is just the building.
The only lighting we're talking about is on the building.
Right.
Okay.
We're going to assign this to the site now.
Well, because the lighting plan submitted shows the whole site. So, and it's not it does not reflect the changes that were made at the last meeting.
But Joe,
Regarding the
I
site
didn't
plan.
upload the whole site. I was completed on July 17th. The goal uploaded it. I just came for the 2 buildings.
And I think the request is just to have the, if you're uploading, when you
I
upload.
mean, this is,
like-
all this paperwork is from my site. My lives that were resubmitted, all that is.
If we're, Mr. Wickland, if we're doing a development plan review for a particular lot within the PUD, is it bringing in the entire site again, or is it just for that particular lot?
I think whatever the pleasure is. Either way.
Okay. So is there a consistency then within the site as a whole between the other buildings and these 2 buildings as far as the site, the lighting fixtures?
We're not changing anything on the site. This
I'm not talking about the lamps on the pole. I think we're talking more about those decorative lightings. Is there any other lighting other than those?
No,
Or they can-
On the back too, we'll send a cut sheet for the light.
Okay. And then the lighting plan for the buildings, as far as the parking lot lighting plan, which is the photometrics, that hasn't changed because of I thought that would be changed with the lot reconfiguration. But only those locations where the lot was modified, like in the
Correct.
northwest corner. And then, we changed, whenever we changed last.
There were lights eliminated on the northwest corner.
So just like traffic studies, let's look at the big picture too, and from the staff's perspective, please, and try to make sure all the things as they're onesie twosie and are all tied together. And I think maybe that's what she's asking about as it pertains to the site plan itself. The fixtures are going to be the same, but it's maybe the location and it's the photometrics change because of the reconfiguration of the lots. Close?
And I would like to point out too that, on lot 5, we did reconfigure lot 5 slightly because of that parking lot that is on the east side of the structure. And with the way that the lot line falls now, it could potentially be between, like if you go to page 34 of the staff report, and we go down to the southeast corner of lot 5. I think part of the light fixture, there's a receptacle that's technically on lot 5. And then I think the light fixture itself is technically on outlot B, I believe. So it's kind of split. So from my perspective, we do need to make sure that the lighting plan is buttoned up. It's a set of drawings that is going to be approved with this plan that we want to make sure that it's being installed appropriately. It does, from my perspective, it does affect this lot. And I know that the one thing that concerns me too is that in that northwest corner, we're still showing the parking lot lines. And I just don't want anything to be misconstrued that, with this approval, that we are also approving other parts of this document that we were
Right.
not.
So, Mr. Leeser, you'll work with staff from the standpoint of making sure that all the parking spaces have the proper illumination and be consistent throughout the site as it pertains to the modifications to lot 5 and 6.
So, yes,
Okay.
We didn't submit this plan for this meeting tonight.
Got it.
Okay, this was 3 meetings ago, and we did eliminate the triangle in the northwest corner and left the pavement, no parking at all. And that line, those lines were just painted stripes, so it's never curved. The outlots, you're talking to Rachel, that you're seeing is on the pole, so it's not like. That's, it's on the pole. Okay, so.
Yeah,
Nothing is, so for tonight's meeting for lot 5 and 6, everything got submitted with the site plan. And I don't know why that was done. July 17th, and then early July and June. I only, so whoever uploaded everything, and that northwest corner has been corrected.
So
So that's a contingency based on the site plan line being consistent throughout the development.
I think, you know.
I think it's having a consistent site plan. This is a complicated, there's so many parts and pieces to this overall site. It's a great project. And I think, whenever you have your new staff planner that comes in, just trying to keep consistency throughout these approvals would be really helpful, because it is hard to go back and say, oh, was this part of it? So I would prefer to see consistency throughout the plans, so that when we do have these changes, it's reflected. Every time we go through an approval process, we're looking at the same documents that are consistent and cohesive, and reflect the most up-to-date site plan.
But staff should be tracking that paperwork to make sure that the changes that were made in previous meetings are shown in the paperwork that come up in the future meetings. So
Mhm.
I have this.
My email trail to upload the buildings on lot 5 and 6, my site plan for lots 5 and 6, my elevations and renderings, that's all I upload.
And you have the contingency already in there, so that's good to get this moving forward.
we're keeping that.
Yeah, just make sure it's consistent throughout the site.
Yeah, and I'll get cut sheets on the mic.
And it sounds like you have the updated drawings. And I think to Ms. Christensen's point, we are gonna have a new planner at some point. And when they look at the development plan and the associated drawings for August 8th, we'd like those drawings to reflect also the July 17th.
Well, I didn't upload it.
Right. So just, my understanding of the condition is that the proper drawings get submitted.
I did, right? And they,
Well, I try to help if I may.
Sure.
I think we're just trying to piece these together, what Jay said, if he's coming for lots 5 and 6, he wouldn't have submitted all of those other pages that didn't. We just pulled up the ones from the last meeting, so that's what's confusing all of us. It should just be the documents for 5. So what Jay submitted
I mean, it's like 8 or 10 pages I submitted.
instead of all.
Not
of it.
very
That's, I think that's what I'm hearing when I'm hearing it.
Yes.
And I see that from that perspective, that we're looking at the structure itself, but my interpretation of a development plan is that we're also looking at the site plan, which would include the sidewalk on lot 5, any lighting receptacles that are on lot 5, which there is a small receptacle that is part of the lighting plan that is part of lot 5. So, when I was doing my review, I was looking at all the components that were happening on lot 5 for that development plan review. And like I said, that does include the site plan itself. It includes the lighting plan. It would include a landscaping plan. And that's why that was all included with this package. Only for lot 5.
Are saying the same thing a lot of different
Okay,
times.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to recommend approval of PC docket number 23-018, development plan for a retail building on Maple Leaf Crossing Lot 5 located at 9470 Calumet Avenue with the following conditions: striking number 1 and leaving numbers 2 and 3.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Be there none, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Mellon,
Yes.
Ms. Brady.
Yeah.
Dr. Colbert.
Yes.
Councilor, Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and Mr. Bailey.
Yes. Congratulations.
Well, the-
Don't go anywhere.
well, the
We're
next
gonna do
building-
PC 23-19. Maple Leaf Crossing LLC requesting approval of the development plan for retail building in Maple Leaf Crossing Lot 6 located at 9460 Calumet Avenue. Ms. Christensen, let me just jump ahead. Is there anything different other than the lot number than what we just talked about for lot 5?
No, I did not include the entire lighting plan on this one, as I did with lot 5, because there wasn't any lighting, site lighting fixtures on this site plan. So it's all the same except for the lighting plan.
Thank you. Any
Mhm.
questions for Mr. Christensen? Ms. Christensen, sorry. Either none. For the petitioner, yes, sir. State your name and address, because it's government. We want to do as many times as we possibly can.
10342 Rosen Lane.
Anything to add, sir?
And we call these bookend buildings, they're 100 feet different.
Okay, so bringing it back to the commission, any questions for the petitioner on this one?
Sure, much the same building, just a little longer,
The ones, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Be there none? Okay, thank you, sir. I'm going to open up the public hearing as this is a public hearing. If you'd like to speak on this matter, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Going once, going twice, don't rush. Closing the public hearing, bring it back to the commission.
I will recommend approval of PC docket number 23-019, a development plan for the retail building at Maple Leaf Crossing, lot 6, located at 9460 Calumet Avenue, with the following conditions under 1 and 2.
And I think we would strike number 1. It's the same as the previous.
I would recommend with just number 2.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
And a second, any discussion? Either none. Mr. Anderson.
Councilor Tulowitzki,
Yes.
Ms. Brannigan.
Yeah.
Councilor Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Baker.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna jump ahead here. We have other business, PC 23-017 on Maple Leaf Crossing LLC. Is this something that is tied into the discussions that we've been having? I'm bringing that to Ms. Christensen, staff. Can I do that? Does it make sense, or should I follow the order here?
Um,
All right, well then let's stay on Maple Leaf, and finish what the concerns are as it relates to Maple Leaf.
okay. So we're talking about PC 23-017.
Correct. Requesting
Okay.
approval of the final plat for Maple Leaf Crossing PUD, a replat that modifies lots 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all lots A and B.
Yes, so we saw this as a preliminary plat, a meeting or so ago, and all the updates have been made to this drawing. My staff recommendation is to approve as presented.
So it's not the old aerial of what's doing. What did we change?
We had modified lots 5. Let me look a little closer.
Is this a overview of all the things that have been modified over the summer?
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about the same stuff we've already approved, and this is now the final document?
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you for that. Bring it back to the commission. Any questions with regards to what all that means? Is there none? All right, what are we looking to do here? Is this a vote?
Yes.
Approval of final plat, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I will move to approve PC document number 23-017, a replat of the Maple Leaf Crossing Plan Unit Development that modifies lots 2 through 7 out and lots A and B, as shown on the Maple Leaf Crossing second plat of amendment prepared by Conrad Engineering dated 7/3/23.
There's a motion, there's a second,
I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion? Either not, Mr. Anderson.
Councilor Miller,
Yes.
Dr. Cole, yes. Ms. Brannigan, Councilor Tulowitzki.
Yes.
Mr. Baker.
Yes. Congratulations. Don't know when we'll see him again, but hurry up. All right, next up is finding of facts, PC 23-012. Dave Oddie Community Foundation, Northwest Indiana is requesting approval of the amendment of ordinance 1206 CFNI Business Plan Unit Development to accommodate in addition to the existing diagnostic center building in block 2. Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, slash Mr. Wickland. As these are finding of facts, are we able to approve them all in a single motion?
Yes, yes, no.
So I would therefore make the motion to approve findings of facts A through letters A.
do the
Okay, PC docket 23-012, PC 23-013, PC 23014, PC 23015. Second as presented.
There's a motion and a second, any discussion? There none, Mr. Anderson.
Ms. Brannigan.
Yeah.
Dr. Colbert.
Yeah.
Councilors, Brown, Councilor Tulowitzki, yes, and Mr. Baker.
Yes. Thank you, Councilman. That efficiency was outstanding. Next regular scheduled meeting is September 12th, 2023. That means summer's almost over. I'm sorry. Unless there's anything for the good of the order, entertain a motion.
To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Just to mess up Mr. Wigglin. Aye, opposed. Well, thank you very much for making this a better place to live.
Thank you, Rachel.
Good night. Thanks, everyone.
So.